Okay, so this is after we actually mounted the stamp and stamped with it once, and I wanted to look after it got inked um, at the porosity and just how the ink laid down. And this first one was the settings that came with the file, and it burnt almost all the way through the material. So that is actually, let's look at it from the side, about a millimeter thick. You can see that residue that's left over. I think some speed and power and air assist changes will help with that. So you can see how, let's see if we can get a measurement. So actually millimeter and a half is how tall those are. And that's probably actually about right. There's no transfer except on there's a little bit, except on the letters. So that depth, that may be a little too deep, but that actually looks pretty good. This is number two, and I didn't go deep enough on this one, as you saw from the earlier videos. I thought it was going to be a little shallow. You can see where it transferred some ink where it shouldn't have here, and that may be partly because of the shape of the mount. I just cut some 3/4 inch walnut that I had laying around and stuck this on with contact cement. But if we'll look at the cross section of this one, I think you'll be able to see that it's a lot shallower, and it looks like it's going to be half a millimeter. So I think in between the number one and the number three is a happy medium. So we could pull the power down, I mean the speed down a little bit, or raise the power up a little bit, or both, or we could make two passes. Now making two passes may make this easier for cleanup. That white residue was left over after I brushed it with a soft bristle brush and used denatured alcohol to clean it, and some of that stuff was left over. It probably needs a good scrubbing with soap and water actually to remove all that stuff. So normally I think those that leftover white residue I don't think is going to normally be there. It cleaned up pretty good in those spots. It's just hanging around in some of the smaller areas that I didn't get to. Same way on the third one. Yeah, that's number three. Same deal. This one's got a little ramp on it. I don't know that it's enough of a ramp to affect any real difference. Looking at it sideways, it's not very visible, but it doesn't really have to be. There's a little bit of curvature here the way I mounted this thing. It's coming up a little. I probably didn't press them down long enough. So I mean, this isn't an exact controlled experiment where I'm honestly kind of delving into new territory here. So there's a little bit of transfer there on the sides. Um, I'm going to run another batch of these things, try to get the depth right, and then play with the ramp a little bit and see if that makes a little difference. And then I may try another more complex design, something besides just letters, because I know that this client does a bunch of logos and things like that too. So, and then this is number two. But that's where we're at so far. Let me see if I can get another cross-sectional view of this here. Get it from the side. I think you can see the ramp. You can see how it's tapered a little bit. Look on that eye. Um, there is a little bit of taper to it, and this is number two. That doesn't have a ramp, or the ramp was not turned on. Let's see. This one it was. It still looks like there's a little bit of taper. Maybe it's a little more defined. I'll have to look at that a little closer. I need to read up on exactly how these ramp settings affect it, and how far out we need to go and that kind of thing. So that's what I've got on the first test, inking up the three examples that we covered earlier. And there'll be more to come. Thanks. Have a good day.